Hello everyone, and welcome back. As always, today we are continuing the story from our previous episode. This time, we are returning to an encounter between a group of young international exchange students who came to Thailand to experience and learn about a different culture, and a Thai woman who approached them in an attempt to help them understand something that may seem simple, but is actually an important part of everyday life in Thai society: how to use the BTS SkyTrain. But this encounter was not simply about how to use public transportation. It became something much deeper. A moment that raised questions about cultural exchange, respect, responsibility, and whether we truly learn from the society we visit, or simply expect that society to adapt to us. So, what really happened? Let's listen to the story together. A country may have laws, but its people still have to learn. From the previous episode, we talked about an important question. Was what happened on the train simply the behavior of one group of teenagers? Or was it something bigger? Because when a group of people leaves their own country, and then behaves in a way that creates discomfort in another country, the question does not stop at, what did these young people do? The question becomes much bigger. Who was responsible for teaching them? Who was responsible for looking after them? And did they understand that traveling outside their own country does not mean they can take their own behavior with them, and expect every place in the world to accept it? These are important questions. But there is something we must be careful about. We must never take the behavior of one group of people and use it to judge an entire nation. Not every Italian behaves the same way, just as not every Thai person behaves the same way. People are individuals. Countries are made up of millions of different people, and one person's behavior cannot represent everyone. But at the same time, we should not use the words, "They are just children," to close every question before the discussion even begins. Being young may mean that someone is still learning, but being young does not mean a person has no responsibility for what they do, especially when young people travel as part of an organized educational or cultural exchange program, and especially when adults are responsible for supervising them. Because if the words, cultural exchange, mean traveling to see a world that is different from our own, then the very first lesson should be this: the world does not revolve around us. We are not the center of every place we visit, and the country we travel to was not created so that we can do whatever we want. This may sound obvious, but the truth is, many people still have difficulty understanding it. Some people travel to another country, but expect the host country to adjust to them. The food should suit their preferences. The language should be spoken in a way they can understand. The service should be exactly the way they want it. The rules should be flexible for them. And when someone tells them to stop, they may respond, "But I paid." That way of thinking can become extremely dangerous, because it turns everything into a question of money. I paid, therefore, I deserve service. I paid, therefore, I deserve convenience. I paid, therefore, I can do whatever I want. But in reality, paying for a product does not mean buying the right to hurt another person's feelings. Paying for a service does not mean buying the right to insult the person providing that service. Buying a train ticket does not mean buying the right to disturb everyone else on the train. And traveling as a tourist does not mean buying the right to reduce the value of the people who live in that country. The sentence, "I brought my money to your country," reveals much more about a person's attitude than many people realize. Because if we think about it carefully, tourists are not doing charity for the country they visit, and the host country is not begging tourists for mercy. Tourism is an exchange. The traveler receives services, food, accommodation, transportation, experiences, and at the same time, businesses in the host country receive income. Both sides benefit from the exchange. This is not a relationship between a generous benefactor and a grateful recipient. If we look at everything through the belief that I am the one giving, and therefore everyone else must lower their heads and accept whatever I do, then we are not really traveling to learn about another culture. We are traveling with the belief that we are above other people, and this way of thinking does not belong to any one nationality. People from every country can think this way. Thai people can think this way too. A Thai person traveling abroad might say, "I have money, I am a tourist, I paid for this, so I can do whatever I want." But when we are the ones traveling to another country, we may suddenly discover something. The rules of another country may feel stricter. People may not allow us to do certain things. Sometimes, even a small behavior may be considered inappropriate. And at that moment, how do we feel? Do we say, "I am a tourist, so everyone has to accept me?" Or do we begin to understand something deeper? that traveling to another country means temporarily entering another society. And when we enter someone else's society, we have to learn how to live alongside other people. This is something everyone should learn, no matter where we come from, no matter where we are going. Because when we travel, we do not carry only a passport, we also carry the name of the country we come from. Some people may say, I am not a representative of my country. Legally, that may be true. But socially, the person who meets us for the first time does not know our entire life story. They do not know our childhood. They do not know our family. They do not know our personal values. They may know only one thing, where we come from, and our behavior may become part of the image they remember. This is why schools, families, and teachers matter so much. Before young people are taken to another country, they should not only be taught what there is to see, they should not only be taught what food to try, what places to visit, what photographs to take. They should also be taught that the country they are visiting is filled with human beings with dignity, human beings with feelings, human beings with personal space, human beings who live under rules, human beings with their own culture, and human beings who have the right to reject behavior that disturbs them. Preparing young people for international travel should begin before they even board the plane. They should be taught how to behave on an aircraft, how to respect other guests in a hotel, how to think about the people around them when using public transportation, how to behave when visiting religious or culturally significant places, how to act when entering someone else's community, and perhaps most importantly, how to respond when someone tells them, you are disturbing other people. These are not small things, because young people who travel abroad are receiving a special opportunity. But special opportunities must come with responsibility, not simply financial support, not simply travel, not simply new experiences, and then the belief that, I am entitled to more than everyone else. This brings us to the question of the country of origin. Some people may ask, if a group of young people behaves this way, should we blame Italy? The answer is, we should not generalize about an entire nation, but we can ask questions about the systems that educate and prepare young people, because every country in the world has laws, every country has schools, families, teachers, education systems, but having laws does not mean that every person obeys them. Having rules does not mean that everyone behaves responsibly. Having a good international image does not mean that every individual within that country behaves well. This is true everywhere, including Thailand. Thailand has laws, and yet some people break them. Thailand has traditions that emphasize respect, and yet some people still speak to others with cruelty and vulgarity. Thailand has beautiful cultural values, and yet some people still damage those values through their behavior. So we should never assume that because a country has strict laws, every person in that country will automatically behave well. But at the same time, we can still ask important questions. What does the education system teach children? What do families teach children? And how do adults take responsibility when children behave badly? Because building a country that looks good in the eyes of the world is not simply about passing laws. It is not simply about creating rules. It is not simply about making a country look clean, beautiful, modern, or strict. A truly strong society must also teach people how to live responsibly with others. A country with a good image does not mean every person in that country is good, and a country with problems does not mean every person in that country is bad. We must learn to separate the two. This is extremely important, because learning from an incident is not the same as creating hatred. Learning from an incident means looking at the problem and asking, what can we do better? And in this situation, we must return once again to the role of teachers, because a teacher traveling with young people does not simply have the responsibility of getting them from one place to another. A teacher is still an adult, and when young people lose control of themselves, the adults responsible for them must act. If the children become too loud, the teacher should intervene. If they begin disturbing other people, the teacher should stop the behavior. If they begin using offensive language, the teacher should step in. And if their behavior becomes aggressive, the teacher cannot simply allow the situation to continue, because doing nothing is also a decision. Standing and watching is also a decision. Laughing is also a form of communication. And from the perspective of the person being affected, an adult who stands there and watches may appear to be accepting the behavior. This is the difference between not punishing a child and doing absolutely nothing. A teacher may not need to punish a child immediately, but the behavior must be stopped. That is the important part. When a child behaves inappropriately, the first responsibility is to stop the harm. Then, the adults can discuss what happened, establish the facts, and help the child understand responsibility. But if the behavior is allowed to continue, the situation may become more serious, and when a situation escalates, it becomes much more difficult to resolve. The person being targeted may begin to feel surrounded, they may feel outnumbered, and on the other side, there may be a group of young people, with an adult standing among them, doing nothing to stop what is happening. This is why teachers need more than academic knowledge. Teachers need the ability to manage situations. They need to know how to separate young people from conflict. They need to know how to speak firmly, and they need to make it clear. This behavior will not continue. A teacher does not have to scream, "You are making our country look bad." Instead, a teacher might say, "You are causing trouble for other people." Those words are inappropriate. You have already been warned. Now we are stopping. This is not about humiliating a child. It is about teaching the relationship between actions and consequences. Because if a child never experiences consequences for their behavior, they may grow up believing that the world must always accept them. And one day, when the world refuses to accept them, they may become angry, aggressive, or blame everyone else. This is a much bigger problem than simply making noise. Noise can stop in a few seconds, but the belief that I can do whatever I want can follow a person throughout their entire life. And one day, that person may become a manager, a teacher, a politician, a business owner, a parent, or someone with the power to make decisions that affect other people. If they still believe that people with money are above others, that the loudest person deserves to win, and that the person who is being warned has no right to speak, then what kind of society will we create? This is why educating young people is not a small matter. The children of today will become the adults of tomorrow, and what they learn today may become the way they behave in the future. Traveling abroad is therefore a very large classroom, but how much a child learns in that classroom depends on whether the child is willing to learn, and whether the adults who brought them there are truly acting as teachers. Because if children travel to another country, but still believe, everyone has to do what I want, then they have not learned culture. They have simply taken themselves and placed themselves in another country. If they see something different and laugh at it, they have not learned culture. They have simply judged something they do not understand. If someone corrects them, and they respond with vulgarity, they have not learned culture. They are showing that they have not yet learned even the most basic principles of living alongside other people. And this is the most painful irony of all. A group of people may have traveled to Thailand in order to learn about Thai culture, but what many Thai people ended up seeing was a group of people who did not seem willing to learn. That is a painful lesson, but it is also a useful one, because it forces us to ask, where should cultural exchange begin? Perhaps it should not begin with food. Perhaps it should not begin with tourist attractions. Perhaps it should not begin with history. Perhaps it should begin with something much more fundamental, learning to respect another human being. Because if we do not know how to respect other people, we cannot truly learn their culture. Culture is not only food, clothing, music, architecture, or tourist attractions. Culture is the way human beings live together. Culture is what a society values. Culture is how people express respect. Culture is what people learn about what is appropriate and what is not. When we travel to another country, we do not have to erase ourselves. We do not have to stop being who we are. But we do have to understand the context of the place we are entering. In the same way, foreign visitors coming to Thailand do not have to become Thai people. They do not have to speak perfect Thai. They do not have to understand every Thai tradition in one day, but they should have a willingness to learn, and they should show respect toward things they do not yet understand. At the same time, Thai people must also continue learning. We cannot simply say, "This is Thailand," and then demand that everyone think exactly as we do. Thailand itself is a diverse society, and welcoming foreign visitors should come from understanding, not hatred. But welcoming people does not mean allowing anyone to come into our home and insult us. This is where Thai people must remain calm and thoughtful. When someone behaves in a way that makes Thai people feel insulted, anger is understandable, but we must be careful. We must not allow our anger to turn us into the very thing we are criticizing. If someone uses vulgar language, we do not have to respond with even more vulgar language. If someone insults Thai people, we do not have to insult an entire nation in return. If someone behaves disrespectfully, we do not have to respond by becoming even more disrespectful. Because protecting our dignity does not mean lowering ourselves to the same behavior as the person we are criticizing. We can say, that behavior is inappropriate, that should not have happened. We expect an apology. We expect accountability, without creating hatred toward an entire nation. That is a mature response. And this is also something adults should teach children. Because in the online world, young people may see adults using aggressive language, using insults, mocking others, and receiving likes, views, and attention. Children may begin to believe that vulgarity is courage, that insulting people is honesty, that mocking people is entertainment, and that hurting others is a way to become famous. But the truth is, the online world may reward certain behaviors. The real world still has consequences. A person who constantly insults others may lose credibility. A person who humiliates others may lose opportunities. And a person who causes embarrassment to their own country may cause people to become more cautious when meeting others from that same country. This is why everyone must take responsibility for what they do, especially in a world where a mobile phone can record almost anything. Today, we may think, no one saw. But we have no idea whether someone was recording. We may think, I was only joking, but someone else may have heard it. We may think, it was just a funny gesture, but the person on the receiving end may have felt humiliated. And once those images are shared, the words, I was only joking, may not be enough to erase the consequences. This is the world we live in today, a world where our actions can travel much farther than we can. And this is something everyone, especially young people, must learn. Being free does not mean having the right to hurt other people. Being yourself does not mean having the right to disrespect everyone else. Having money does not mean having power over other human beings. Being a foreign visitor does not mean having more rights than the people who live in the country you are visiting. And being Thai does not give us the right to insult people from another country. Every human being deserves respect, and every human being must also learn to give respect to others. So, the lesson from this incident is not simply, do not be loud on public transportation. The deeper lesson is this: before we travel somewhere, we should ask ourselves, am I truly ready to learn? Before we speak to someone, we should ask, how would I feel if someone spoke to me this way? Before we judge another person, we should ask, do I actually know enough about them to judge them? And before we believe that our money makes us superior to other people, we should ask ourselves, if I had no money, would I still be a human being deserving of respect? The answer is yes. Every human being deserves respect. But respect is not something we can demand from others, while refusing to give it to anyone else. Respect must begin with us, and this is where we will continue in the final episode. Because in the third and final episode, we will turn our attention directly toward Thailand. What should Thailand learn from this incident? How should Thai people welcome foreign visitors? When does politeness become allowing someone else to disrespect us? And why does loving Thailand not mean standing up and shouting, I love Thailand? It may mean something much deeper. It may mean protecting the things that are worth protecting. Protecting manners, protecting dignity, protecting cultural values, and having the courage to say, inappropriate behavior is inappropriate behavior. Whether it comes from a Thai person or a foreign visitor, it should not be normalized. Because a country is not destroyed by the words of one individual, but a country may slowly lose something valuable when the people within it stop caring about what is right, what is appropriate, and what should be passed on to the next generation. Loving Thailand does not mean hating foreigners, and welcoming foreigners does not mean allowing anyone to insult Thai people. We can open the doors of our home to visitors, while still protecting the dignity of our home, and this is what we will continue to reflect on in the final episode. Thank you for staying with me, and as always, if you are tired from the noise and confusion of the world, take a moment to rest. Then, slowly, let us continue learning together, because sometimes, stopping for a moment does not mean that we have stopped moving forward. Sometimes, we stop, so we can finally see clearly what the things happening in front of us are trying to teach us. I will see you in the next episode.